Gangs are not out to attack the police. No mafia messes with the police because they know the cops will come down on you if you hurt their own. The gang mentality is that this is my city, this is my hood, this is my world. They have total disrespect for the law, but in the mind of the gang member, they feel they are surviving and they aren't really doing anything wrong. They are looking at poverty as being wrong. Stories fly around town about cops antagonizing gang members to fight each other by going around from set to set and spreading rumors about who murdered who. A lot of cops find this shit funny. If you're a real policeman, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. But first, you got to put yourself in the mindset of the cop who gets up in the morning saying, all these fucking nigger savages down here, I'm going to go down and put some of them in jail and beat some of them up. That cop, he's causing just as much trouble as they are because he's in there stirring them up. They'll pull you to the side of the street and tell you to get out and run. They'll tell you to fight them, and you've got to fight them. The gangs do nothing more than act as defiant as possible toward police. A gang member will see a cop and throw a setup to him. They call that giving it up or hitting him up. Like Ice Cube says on his Predator album, see one time, hit him up. He's illustrating the defiance gang members feel toward one time, which is slang for the cops who roll through the neighborhoods. Most gang members aren't afraid of getting thrown in jail because what do they have to lose? To most of them, jail is no different than home. They ain't gotta do nothing but kick it with the homies in jail. Everybody's there. You ain't got nothing on the streets. So if you get popped, so what? If you're young, you say to yourself, man, I could do two standing on my head. Gang mentality is totally pounded into your head in prison. When you go to a prison in any section of California, you get thrown into a car. A car is the group you hang out with when you're in the joint. A ride. These are the guys you'll be rolling with in the prison riot. The first thing you'll be asked after being in prison for a while is, what car are you in? In jail, there are Muslim cars, 415, up north, 213, L.A., Black Guerrilla Family, a Crip car, a Blood car. These cars are your gang and your form of protection while you're serving time. Like in any gang situation, even if you don't side with any of them, that becomes a car. The people who ain't with anything. If a convict goes to prison for 10 years and lands in a Crip car, he's waking up every day putting on his bandana, walking the walk, and it's no joke. When a guy who outranks you in your car comes to you and tells you you gotta stick some guy, you gotta do it. There's lots of drama in jail. By the time you come home, you're really banging. When the police take you off the street and put you in jail, your criminal side is totally re-emphasized. You'll see the gang tattoos. You'll see the change in their eyes. My hope is the gang truce can reach into the prisons because the prisons are what really run the streets. In the joint, you get favors by seeing what you can do for somebody on the outside. If I were in jail with you and you wanted something done by me, or I wanted something done by you, I'd say, don't worry, I can reach your people and handle what you need. So a lot of the guys who are getting killed on the streets are being reached by people in the joint. The joint contains the most hardcore gangsters. In The Peculiar Institution, Frederick Douglass is quoted from over 140 years ago writing, "Everyone in the South wants the privilege of whipping someone else." He believed that slaves, by having to submit to the power of their masters, therefore became aggressive toward each other and would whoop each other even more cruelly than their masters. Frustration builds into aggressive behavior, and it causes people to lash out and hurt somebody else. Anybody who suffers some kind of pain is searching to reach out. If you grow up in an aggressive environment, your threshold for pain grows higher, and you're going to do one of two things. You're going to become extremely gentle, or you're going to become extremely violent. I'm more or less a gentle person, but I have the ability to get extremely violent under stressful situations. I'm a person who's pleading, let me be nice, okay? Will you please let me be nice? I want to be nice. Because I have a gang-banging past, people always want to test me. That's a dangerous thing, trying to push the ghetto button. People could end up dead in these situations. With gangs, you are dealing with killers or with people who have the potential to kill. Why would you want to fuck with this guy? Why would you want to try to see if he's real? The way to deal with these guys, especially when they're attempting to break out of the gangster mindset, isn't by threatening them. In Orange County, California, politicians are threatening to crack down hard on gangs. They actually believe if they bully these kids, they will be scared out of gang membership. They don't have a clue that by the time the kids join a gang, he's already lost all fear of what could happen to him. Nothing could be scarier than Johnny's home life and his upbringing. The killing fields have destroyed the spirit and the lives of his friends. If they were smart, they would be exploring the issues that make the kid want to join up in the first place. Why does this kid want to tag on the wall? It's so typical for the government to say, let's go after the kid instead of figuring out the reason he's so full of hate. Let's attack Ice-T because he wrote Cop Killer. We don't want to explore the reasons why he might have written it. Because the causes are never explored, the battles will probably continue. With the injection of drugs into the gang world, you have a perfect breeding ground for organized crime. People outside of the gang arena will always have a difficult time understanding why these kids sell drugs. They ask, how could they hurt their own people? Why would they do that? Why are they hurting themselves? When you deal dope, people are coming to you and begging you for it. You don't really see you're hurting anyone. As a dealer, you become intoxicated with what it gives you, and you can't stop. People don't go into drug selling to hurt people. It's not like they want to go out and kill people. If that were the case, they would take the drugs and lace them with cyanide. They are not trying to kill anyone. They are trying to get into an occupation that allows them the chance to live better than they are. Before the introduction of crack, you had units of kids who were out there fighting each other over a street, not money. Now, all of a sudden, you gave them a chance to make a cash flow, and these kids created their own organizations. Dealing also helped break the gangs up into smaller units because they had the money and the opportunity to do it. Right now, crack cocaine is the #1 employer of minorities in America. It's very hard to retire from that occupation. That's capitalism right there. Crack and cash flow has given yet another angle to the whole complex problem of gangs. Now, you see these gangs spread out all over the United States. With the onset of the gang truce, the gangs in Los Angeles are in their final bonding stages. Prior to the truce, the gangs had all bonded into small units, which I see as a death bond. If they remained separate, the war would definitely continue. By bonding together, they can step back and realize, yo, we've all got the same enemy. Let's stop killing each other. You would have a devastatingly, not only powerful unit of black men in Los Angeles, but I'm talking about dangerous. This is the situation the LAPD does not want to see happen. They do not dig this gang truce. They want to keep them separate. Once you sit down with 20,000 guys who used to fight each other in a group of 5 or 500, and you set them all together, you've got some kind of new phenomenon. Think about the force of these kids for a moment. If you ask, how many people here have done a drive-by and 2,000 hands go up, you've got some shit on your hands. You've got some hardcore soldiers. And if they decide the cops are the enemy, then LAPD is in trouble. The cops have every reason to want to see these kids remain separate. It's better for them if they keep killing each other. I never see the elimination of gangs. I would like to see the elimination of gang violence, though. Currently, I'm putting a lot of time and energy into Hands Across Watts, the organization in LA trying to see the gang truce through. Many of my friends still live in South Central or Compton, and every other phone call I get is word from the street. I'm what you call a shot caller, so I probably know more about what's going on in the hood than people who live there. I'm the one paying for funerals and counseling kids to quit killing over the colors in the streets. I'm the homeboy who made it, and I'm trying to set an example that there are alternatives to the violence. I have hope that peace can be instituted. If you could just get the violence down to a standstill, you'd be left with what the rest of the world calls clubs. In a city this big, you need a group of people around you. When you're from a rough environment like South Central, you need to ask yourself, we're going out looking for trouble, or are we going out to protect each other? The organization I created, the Rhyme Syndicate, is a business, but it employs ex-gang members and ex-street hoods, and in a way, we are a gang because people know they don't want to fuck with us. People have got to understand that gang warfare is not something that should be treated like some minor problem. It's going to take a big truce. It's going to take negotiations. It's going to take money. It will require a lot of effort to get it to an end. Thousands of people have died on each side of this bloody battlefield, and it's not just something that you can snap your fingers and tell people to stop.